To look is to notice, to stop, to not go beyond. There are those who see and pass by on the opposite side out of a deliberate desire to avoid the encounter or prevent any emotional reaction. But there are those who see and approach, allow themselves to be involved in the unexpected situation and take it upon themselves. This is what the Samaritan does, who in essence is Jesus. A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell into the hands of brigands, who stripped him of his belongings, beat him to a pulp and went away, leaving him half dead. By chance, a priest was going down that same road, and when he saw the man, he passed him by. A Levite, too, when he came to that place, also saw and passed him by. But a Samaritan, who was on a journey passing by, saw and took pity on him. He went to him, bandaged his wounds, pouring oil and wine into them. Then he loaded the man onto his own donkey, brought him to an inn and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper, saying, "Take care of him. For any extra expense you may have, I shall reimburse you on my return." There are looks of love and others of indifference. Gazes that show openness and willingness to understand, to welcome and serve. To look is to put yourself in the shoes of one's neighbour. It is the willingness to step out of the vortex of personal concerns, to dedicate ourselves to the concerns of others. The eyes are not only a window from which to look out onto the world and let images in. It is a channel through which we express our dispositions and from which our desires exit. Charity, compassion, purity of heart, poverty of spirit, and willingness to serve are manifested through the eyes.
Bueno, vamos a compartir un ratito de reflexión sobre la parábola del buen samaritano. La parábola del buen samaritano habla de un mundo no redondo ni perfecto, sino un mundo golpeado, sufriente en estos tiempos de pandemia. Lo hemos visto y lo conocemos y lo tenemos en nuestros barrios. Entonces vemos este mundo que está tirado al borde del camino. El buen samaritano en esta reflexión va a ser la iglesia, una iglesia que estamos llamados a ser buena samaritana, una iglesia en salida, con piernas, con puertas abiertas, con ojos atentos. Entonces esta es la historia de una iglesia que va caminando por el mundo, pero claro, tiene un montón de planes pastorales, de programas, de encuentros, de jornadas, tantas cosas que hacer, tanta actividad que pasa delante del mundo sufriente y no lo contempla. A veces la iglesia no solo pasa con esas actividades, sino que organiza jornadas, encuentros, webinar, teatros, torneos de fútbol, un montón de catequesis, de jornada, y a veces pasa de largo del mundo doliente y sufriente. Estamos llamados a ser una iglesia con los brazos vacíos y acogedores, sin prisa, con pausa, capaces de contemplar con nuestros ojos el dolor del que sufre, acercarnos y acogerlo, y llevarlo junto a nosotros, y compartir la vida, y llegar a una buena posada, donde se recupere y donde pueda encontrar la vida. Y la iglesia se abre al mundo que sufre y al pobre, y es una iglesia auxiliadora. ¿Y cómo nos auxilia la iglesia? Haciendo familia y ofreciendo el gran tesoro que es Jesús de Nazaret, que es el auténtico y el verdadero salvavidas. Esta es nuestra vocación, para que el mundo se recupere en el sufrimiento. No somos una posada sin piernas y sin ojo que recibe una subvención, sino que somos una iglesia en camino, que sale al encuentro de los que sufren y de los más pobres. Esta es nuestra llamada, y le pedimos a nuestra Madre, la Auxiliadora, que nos ayude a ser iglesia samaritana y buenos samaritanos al encuentro del mundo que sufre, que tiene un sitio junto a nosotros. Los pobres son iglesia y nosotros estamos al servicio de la iglesia.
Father Cafasso, who had been my guide for 6 years, first took me into the prisons, where I learned how great the misery of men is. There were many boys between the ages of 12 and 18, all healthy, robust, alert. But seeing them idle, gnawed by insects, horrified me. They were unhappy beings. It was on such occasions that I understood why many returned to prison several times. They were abandoned to themselves. Who knows, I said to myself, if these youngsters had a friend outside who could take care of them, assist them, and instruct them in religion on holidays. Who knows that they might not keep away from ruin, or at least not return to prison? I communicated this thought to Father Cafasso, and with his advice I began to study how to achieve it. Abandoning the fruits to the grace of the Lord, without which all the efforts of men are in vain.
And who is my neighbor? The lawyer asked Jesus. Has there been a moment in your life in which you ask yourself who your neighbors are? What is Jesus trying to tell us? Due to the pandemic outbreak, more and more people were affected and going hungry. As we walk along the streets and across highways, our hearts were shattered by the situation of the homeless. We witnessed how hard their lives were. As parish youth leaders, we decided to raise some money to give them something to eat. Most of us are students and only a few have permanent jobs. However, this did not hinder us from providing for the homeless. Though what we gathered was modest, we were able to provide for the hungry and neglected people we met. We strolled along 2 railway stations and several highways to give our simple present to them. Thankfully, through social media, many came to know what we were doing and were touched. With their help, we were able to provide another set of sandwiches, not just for the homeless, but also for the frontliners. As we continued to reach out to the homeless, abundant blessing kept pouring to sustain the ministry. Currently, the Salesian Parish Youth Ministry is actively involved with the Cocina ni Maria program of our parish. We provide free soup and drinking water on a daily basis to the poor and needy member of the community. This allows us to continuously stretch our hands to the poor, as what Pope Francis emphasized in his message on the 4th World Day of the Poor. I believe this is God's message for us, to pay attention to the people who are in need and to reach out to them. In this way, we can imitate the Good Samaritan. Whenever I see the smiles of the people who receive our help, especially those who repeatedly say thank you because we came for them, our hearts jump for joy. This joy is the priceless gift from God for our effort to reach out to them. I am grateful that I was able to witness the beauty of God's love in their grateful eyes. I recognize what is beautiful in the poor and in those suffering. I was able to discover God's hidden presence in them. It also taught me to open my heart to the great gifts of faith, hope, and love by reaching out to the poor. All this I learned by not closing my merciful eyes, my heart, and my hands to the plight of the poor, the homeless, the neglected, the marginalized, and the ones in the peripheries. This then, my fellow youth, are our neighbors. Let us not turn our backs to them.
O Mary, powerful Virgin, you great illustrious garrison of the Church, you the marvellous help of Christians, you terrible as an army arrayed in battle, you alone have destroyed every heresy throughout the world. You in distress, in strife, in hardship, defend us from the enemy, and at the hour of death receive our soul in paradise. Amen.
Mientras recorres la vida, tú nunca nunca solo estás. Contigo por el camino, Santa María va. Ven con nosotros a caminar, Santa María, ven con nosotros a caminar.